I never thought I'd become the target of our HOA president's wrath, but here we are. My name is Michael, and I've lived in Oakwood Estates for 5 years without incident. That changed when Karen Thompson was elected as our Homeowners Association president 6 months ago. From the moment she took office, it was clear that Karen viewed her position less as a community service and more as a personal fiefdom. Karen was in her mid-50s with a perfectly maintained bob haircut that she touched up every 3 weeks precisely. Her schedule was as rigid as her personality, and she walked the neighborhood each morning at 8:30 sharp, clipboard in hand, documenting every violation with almost gleeful precision. Trash cans left out 5 minutes past the designated time? Violation. Grass half an inch too tall? Violation. Holiday decorations up 1 day past the acceptable window? You better believe that's a violation. I managed to stay under her radar until last month when I committed the unforgivable sin of planting purple hydrangeas instead of the HOA-approved blue ones. I received a notice within 24 hours demanding I remove the unauthorized flora immediately or face a $50 daily fine. When I explained that the soil acidity would eventually turn them blue anyway, Karen said with a dismissive wave of her hand, "Rules are rules, Michael. We can't have people just planting whatever colors they want. It would be anarchy." I complied, because fighting over flowers seemed petty, but I could tell it gave Karen a taste of power she enjoyed. From then on, I noticed her lingering near my property more often, as if hoping to catch another infraction. Little did I know this was just the beginning of her bizarre fixation on controlling every aspect of my existence in the neighborhood. The real trouble started when I ordered a new laptop for my work-from-home job. I received a delivery notification that my package had been delivered, but when I checked my porch, there was nothing there. Thinking it might have been misdelivered or stolen, I contacted the delivery company who confirmed it had been handed directly to a property representative, who identified herself as authorized to accept deliveries for the entire community. I immediately knew who it was. I called Karen, trying to keep my tone neutral despite my growing frustration. "Karen, did you by any chance accept a package addressed to me today?" "Yes, I did," she replied with that smug satisfaction I'd come to recognize in her voice. "As HOA president, I've instituted a new package security protocol. All deliveries are now routed to my house for verification and proper distribution. It prevents theft and maintains the aesthetic integrity of our community by eliminating unsightly packages on porches." I took a deep breath before responding. "Karen, that's not within the HOA's authority. You can't just intercept people's mail and packages. That's actually illegal." She laughed as if I'd said something ridiculous. "Don't be dramatic, Michael. I'm doing everyone a favor. You can pick up your package between 4 and 4:15 this afternoon. That's the designated pickup window." Unfortunately, I had an important video conference scheduled exactly during that time window, which I explained to Karen. "I'm sorry, but that doesn't work for me. I need my package now, and you had no right to take it in the first place." Karen's voice turned icy. "Well, I'm afraid those are the hours. If you can't make it, you'll have to wait until tomorrow's window. Same time." What Karen didn't know was that this wasn't just any package. Along with my new laptop, I had ordered my monthly prescription medication, which required temperature-controlled handling and needed to be refrigerated within a certain time frame. The pharmaceutical company actually placed tracking devices in these specific medication packages due to their high value and temperature sensitivity. I decided to try reasoning with her one more time. "Karen, this package contains time-sensitive medication that needs refrigeration. It's actually being tracked by the pharmaceutical company. Please, I need to pick it up now." "Everyone has an excuse, Michael," she said with an exasperated sigh. "If I make an exception for you, I'll have to make exceptions for everyone. Rules are rules." At this point, I realized reasoning with Karen was futile. I hung up and called the non-emergency police line to explain the situation. The dispatcher seemed familiar with similar complaints and said they'd send an officer to accompany me to Karen's house. Apparently, I wasn't the first person in the neighborhood to have issues with her overstepping her authority. Officer Rodriguez met me outside my house 30 minutes later. He was professional but couldn't hide a slight eye roll when I explained the situation. "We've had other complaints about your HOA president," he admitted as we walked toward Karen's house. "Nothing this serious, though." When Karen opened her door and saw me standing there with a police officer, her expression cycled rapidly from surprise to indignation to a strange sort of smug confidence. She crossed her arms and addressed the officer while pointedly ignoring me. "Officer, I'm Karen Thompson, president of the Oakwood Estates HOA. Is there a problem?" Officer Rodriguez maintained a neutral tone. "Ma'am, I understand you're in possession of a package addressed to Mr. Michael Bennett. He's here to retrieve it." Karen's chin jutted out defiantly. "As HOA president, I've implemented a secure package acceptance policy. Residents can pick up their deliveries during designated hours only. It's all in our new bylaws." The officer shook his head slightly. "Ma'am, regardless of any homeowner association rules, intercepting and holding someone else's deliveries without their permission is not legal. You need to return Mr. Bennett's package immediately." Karen's face flushed red. "This is ridiculous. I'm providing a service to this community. Do you know how many packages get stolen these days?" "Be that as it may," Officer Rodriguez continued patiently, "you cannot take someone else's mail or packages. That's actually a federal offense. Now, please return Mr. Bennett's property." With visible reluctance, Karen disappeared into her house, returning moments later with a large box that I recognized as my delivery. As she thrust it into my hands, I noticed it had been opened and resealed with HOA-branded tape. My blood began to boil. "Did you open my package?" I asked, already knowing the answer. "All packages must be inspected to ensure they don't contain anything prohibited by HOA regulations," she replied as if this was perfectly reasonable. Officer Rodriguez's eyebrows shot up. "Ma'am, opening someone else's mail or packages is another serious offense." While they were talking, my phone buzzed with an alert from the pharmaceutical company's tracking app. Temperature threshold exceeded. Medication integrity may be compromised. I showed this to the officer, explaining that the medication needed refrigeration and now might be ruined due to Karen's interference. That's when things escalated quickly. The officer asked Karen if she had more packages belonging to other residents, and her hesitation was answer enough. After obtaining a warrant, they discovered she had converted her spare bedroom into a makeshift distribution center, with dozens of packages addressed to various neighbors, many of them opened. Among the items were several other temperature-sensitive medications, including insulin that belonged to Mrs. Abernathy, the elderly woman at the end of the street. There were also open financial documents, birthday gifts with the cards read and resealed, and even a few items that appeared to be missing components. Karen was arrested on multiple charges: mail theft, tampering with mail, possession of stolen property, and interference with delivery of prescription medications. As they led her to the police car, her face had lost all color except for two bright spots of anger on her cheeks. "You can't do this to me," she shouted, struggling against the handcuffs. "I'm the HOA president. I was protecting this community." The story spread through the neighborhood like wildfire. An emergency HOA meeting was called the following evening, where Karen appeared, having been released on bail but looking significantly less put together than usual. She faced a room full of angry neighbors, many of whom had discovered their missing packages in police evidence photos. The board voted unanimously to remove her as president, effective immediately. The final blow came when the pharmaceutical company whose tracked medication she had interfered with decided to press charges and seek damages for the compromised medications, which totaled over $10,000. When the board secretary announced the tally of votes removing her from office, Karen's face contorted in disbelief. "You ungrateful people have no idea what I've done for this community," she said, her voice trembling with indignation. "Without me, this place will fall into chaos. You'll be begging me to come back when your property values plummet." But looking at her standing there, stripped of her clipboard and authority, no one believed her threats anymore.